Apparently, walking in on your husband and your sister recreating a romance novel doesn't qualify as family bonding time. But here we are. There I was, standing in my sister's doorway on a random Friday in October, watching my personal trainer husband demonstrate techniques that definitely weren't in his CrossFit certification. And before you ask, yes, I live-streamed the whole beautiful disaster to our family group chat. Because if I'm going down, I'm taking everyone with me. Let me rewind. I'm Tilda, 32, high school English teacher in Coral Springs, Florida, where the weather stays hotter than Satan's armpit, and apparently so does my family's moral compass. My husband ex-husband Bowen, is 35. Rocks a man bun he thinks makes him look spiritual but actually screams, "I peaked in college," and makes his living convincing middle-aged women that burpees will change their lives. Spoiler alert, the only thing that changed was my marital status. My sister Estelle is 29, has 8,000 Instagram followers. Well, had 8,000 before I turned her into a cautionary tale. And genuinely believes living her truth means sleeping with other people's husbands. Her aesthetic is coastal grandmother meets Pinterest board, all linen dresses and pampas grass, which apparently extends to borrowing other women's men along with their good silverware. That Friday started like any other suffocating Florida afternoon. Hurricane season was supposedly over, but somebody forgot to tell the humidity. I'd just finished teaching my 5th period juniors about the Scarlet Letter, the irony of which would hit me approximately 90 minutes later, when Principal Davenport announced an early dismissal for a fire drill that somehow turned into an actual plumbing emergency. Something about the boys' locker room and a toilet that finally gave up on life. Relatable. So there I was at 2:47 p.m., unexpectedly free, holding the world's ugliest dress that Estelle had loaned me for our cousin's wedding last month. I say loaned in quotes because she'd texted me 17 times asking for it back. Like I'd stolen the Hope Diamond instead of a mustard yellow monstrosity from Anthropology that made me look like a depressed banana. But fine. Good Sister Tilda would return the dress. Trusting, naive, absolutely clueless about what was coming Tilda. I pulled into Estelle's neighborhood, one of those cookie-cutter suburban developments where every third house has the same builder-grade paint, and the HOA threatens legal action if your mailbox doesn't match their approved palette. Very Florida, very soul-crushing. And there, parked in her driveway like a giant neon sign screaming, "Your husband is a cheating dirtbag," was Bowen's Tesla Model 3. The black one. The one he named Midnight, because he's insufferable like that. The one financed entirely in my name because his credit score looked like a phone number from the 1920s. Now, I'm not an idiot. Well, clearly I was an idiot for marrying Bowen, but I'm not a complete idiot. I'd noticed things. The gym sessions that ran mysteriously late. The new cologne. Since when does a man who sweats for a living care about smelling like alpine cedar? The phone angled away during texts. The sudden work emergency calls that required leaving the room. Classic cheater bingo. I'd been collecting evidence like Pokemon cards, just waiting for the right moment to cash in. But my sister? That was a plot twist even my paranoid, true crime podcast-addicted brain hadn't scripted. I parked 2 blocks away because, despite my rage, I still had the presence of mind to maintain the element of surprise. Sun beating down like God's heat lamp, sweat already soaking through my world's okayest teacher t-shirt, a gift from my students that felt increasingly accurate. I crept toward Estelle's house like some kind of suburban ninja. Her place is one of those open-concept disasters where the living room windows face the street because privacy is dead, and builders hate us all. One peek through the window. That's all it took. Bowen, shirtless, sitting on her cream-colored couch that she'd bragged cost more than my first car. Estelle, wearing his Nike dry-fit shirt, the black one, the one I bought him for his birthday, the one that said, "Train insane or remain the same," across the back, which now felt like a personal attack on my judgment. A bottle of Prosecco on the coffee table, the expensive kind from Whole Foods, because of course. His hand, on her thigh, her head, on his shoulder, the kind of cozy, intimate positioning that doesn't happen during a first offense. This wasn't a spontaneous mistake. This was a well-rehearsed routine. My vision went red, then weirdly clear. That crystalline rage where everything sharpens into focus and you stop being a person and become a force of nature. I pulled out my phone, opened our family group chat. Sunshine Squad. My mother's idea. Bless her aggressively optimistic Cuban heart. Positioned the camera. Took a deep breath that tasted like betrayal and Florida humidity. The front door was unlocked because Estelle lives in a fantasy world where bad things don't happen to people who use lavender room spray and post inspirational quotes. I pushed it open silently, those expensive hinges she'd bragged about finally paying off, and stepped into her foyer. Marble tile, fake orchids, a sign that said, "Good vibes only." I was about to violently violate that policy. I cleared my throat. Loud. Aggressive. The kind of throat clearing that says, "I'm here and I'm about to ruin your whole life." They jumped like I'd fired a starting pistol. Bowen's hand flew off her thigh so fast he knocked over the Prosecco bottle. Estelle's eyes went wider than that time she got Botox from a Groupon and couldn't blink for 3 days. The wine spread across her cream couch like a crime scene. Poetic. "Don't stop on my account," I said, voice steady, phone already recording, finger hovering over the live button in the family group chat. "Actually, no. Do stop. I need to get the angle right. Estelle, tilt your head toward the camera. Bowen, maybe flex? Give the people what they want." "Tilda," Bowen started, scrambling off the couch, reaching for a throw pillow to cover his torso like that would somehow salvage his dignity. "Tilda, this isn't what it looks like," Estelle shrieked, also standing, my husband's shirt barely covering her thighs. My husband's shirt. My gift. My money. My life. "Really?" I hit the leave button. The group chat exploded into green dots. Everyone was watching in real time. "Because it looks like my husband is betraying me with my sister on a couch that costs more than my monthly salary. But please, enlighten me. What am I actually looking at?" The family group chat exploded faster than a shaken champagne bottle at a divorce party. My phone vibrated so violently in my hand it felt like it might achieve sentience and file its own restraining order. 73 notifications in 14 seconds. A new family record. My mother Annette's messages came through in rapid-fire Spanish, her Cuban roots surfacing like a linguistic exorcism. My father Otto, normally the calm retired lawyer type, sent a single message in all caps. "Recording this Tilda question mark need for court. Always the lawyer, even in crisis. God bless that paranoid man." Meanwhile, my cousin Ophelia, bless her chaos-loving heart, was sending GF after GF. Popcorn. Michael Jackson eating popcorn. That one from Real Housewives where the woman points and screams. Her contribution to family drama has always been purely aesthetic, and honestly, I respected the commitment. But back to the main event currently unfolding in Estelle's Pottery Barn showroom of a living room. Bowen had progressed from frozen shock to full damage control mode, which for him meant talking. A lot. The man who communicated in Instagram captions and protein shake recipes suddenly became Cicero. "Babe, listen, she was upset about..." He looked at Estelle for backup, which was like asking a goldfish to help with your taxes. Useless and slightly sad. "We were talking," Estelle managed, her voice hitting that pitch that dogs probably found offensive. She clutched his shirt, my gift, my money, tighter around herself like it was a shield against accountability. About her relationship problems. With Marcus. Oh, this was rich. Marcus was Estelle's on-again, off-again boyfriend, who worked in cryptocurrency, which meant unemployed but with strong opinions about Bitcoin. They'd broken up 4 months ago after he'd borrowed her car and returned it on empty with mysterious scratches and a parking ticket from Miami. She'd cried to me about it for 3 weeks. I'd brought her ice cream. I'd listened. I'd been a good sister. And apparently, her version of grief counseling involved my husband's torso and expensive Italian wine. "Marcus," I repeated slowly, phone still steady, family chat still recording every glorious second. "You're upset about Marcus." So naturally, the solution is wearing my husband's shirt like it's a romper while he practices his one-on-one training sessions on your couch. The chat exploded again. My mother. Estelle Marie, get your father's last name out your mouth, you disgrace. My father. Reviewing prenup clause 7 now. Proceed with recording. Ophelia. 3 flame emojis and a skull. It's not like that. Estelle's voice cracked. Tears were forming. Here we go. The waterworks. Her signature move since childhood. Cry, get sympathy, avoid consequences. It worked on our parents until she was 25. It worked on boyfriends until they checked their credit cards. It was not going to work on me today. Then what is it like, Estelle? I stepped closer, phone capturing every beautiful second in high definition. Explain to me, and to Mom, and Dad, and Ophelia, and Aunt Cecilia who just joined the live, Hi, Aunt Cecilia, what this is. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like my husband is more familiar with your couch than I am. And I've been to this house every Sunday for brunch for 2 years. That detail hit Bowen like a fastball to the gut. His face did this thing, this micro-expression that confirmed what I'd suspected. This wasn't new. This wasn't a mistake. This had been happening during Sunday brunches. While I'd been eating her overpriced avocado toast from that farmer's market she loved, thinking we were bonding as sisters, he'd been scheduling appointments with her like she was another client on his training roster. How long? I asked, voice deadly calm. The kind of calm that precedes restraining orders and divided assets. Silence. Even the group chat went quiet. 73 people holding their breath digitally. How long? 3 months, Bowen whispered, which was his first honest statement in probably 3 months. 3 months, 90 days, 13 Sunday brunches, countless late nights at the gym, multiple work emergency phone calls. That weekend, he'd said he was at a fitness convention in Tampa, but came home with a tan that looked suspiciously like Estelle's beach day Instagram posts. The ones where she'd tagged the location as Clearwater Beach. The ones I'd liked because I was a supportive sister. I wanted to throw my phone. I wanted to throw Estelle's decorative succulents. I wanted to throw Bowen directly into the sun. But I didn't. Because I'm a professional. And professionals wait for the moment of maximum damage. 3 months, I repeated for the recording. 90 days of lying to my face. 90 days of you coming home smelling like her perfume. Yes, I noticed, I'm not blind. And telling me it was from hugging clients goodbye. 90 days of family dinners where you two sat across from each other pretending to be normal while I passed you the breadbasket like an idiot. Tilda, please. Estelle reached out. Actually reached out like she had the right to touch me. I stepped back so fast she nearly fell over. Don't you dare. You don't get to touch me. You don't get to cry. You don't get to act like you're the victim here because your fake boyfriend drama wasn't getting you enough attention. The tears came anyway. Great heaving sobs that probably looked tragic on camera. But I knew Estelle. I'd grown up with Estelle. I'd watched her perfect this performance for 3 decades. She could cry on command. She could make herself the sympathetic character in any story. She'd once cried herself out of a speeding ticket by telling the cop she was late to see her dying grandmother, who was alive and well, and living in a retirement community in Boca Raton playing mahjong. You know what the best part is? I turned to Bowen, who looked like he wanted the couch to swallow him whole. You signed a prenup. Remember that? That thing my dad made you sign? The one you rolled your eyes at and said was unnecessary because we're forever, babe? His face went from red to white in record time. Oh, he remembered. Clause 7, Bowen. Infidelity clause. Ironclad, notarized, filed with our marriage certificate. Any proven affair means you forfeit rights to marital assets, you cover all legal fees, and you leave with exactly what you brought into the marriage. I watched him calculate in real time. The house, mine before marriage. The Tesla, financed in my name. The furniture, mostly mine or gifts from my family. His contribution to our household was a Peloton bike and strong opinions about macros. Wait, he said, voice small. Wait, I didn't read the contract? Yeah, I know. You were too busy looking at your reflection in the notary's window to actually read the words. I smiled. Not a happy smile. A shark smile. The kind of smile that says, "I've already won and I'm just watching you realize it." The group chat was losing it. My father. Clause 7 confirmed. Full enforcement available. Recommend immediate separation of assets and filing Monday morning. My mother. Bring him to Sunday dinner. I want words. Ophelia. This is better than Real Housewives. I ended the live stream. 4 minutes and 37 seconds of pure, unfiltered justice served cold in a Florida living room. I'm filing Monday, I said, pocketing my phone. You have until Sunday to remove your protein powder and your ego from my house. Everything else stays, including the dog, especially the dog. Duke deserves better than you. Tilda, both of them said simultaneously, which was almost funny. Save it. You two deserve each other, really. A man who thinks CrossFit is a personality trait and a woman who thinks 9,000 Instagram followers makes her an influencer. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Have a beautiful life together in whatever studio apartment you can afford on a personal trainer's salary without his rich wife's house to live in. I turned to leave, then stopped. One more thing. Oh, and Estelle? You're uninvited from Thanksgiving. And Christmas. And every family event for the rest of your pathetic validation-seeking life. Enjoy explaining this to Mom. I walked out with my head high, leaving them in the wreckage of their own making, the wine still spreading across that stupid cream couch like blood on a battlefield. Victory tasted better than any Sunday brunch ever did. I made it exactly 3 blocks before the adrenaline crash hit me like a freight train made of feelings. My hands were shaking so badly I had to pull over in the Target parking lot. Because where else do suburban women have emotional breakdowns, except under the fluorescent glow of capitalism's greatest achievement? I sat there in my Honda CR-V, the practical teacher car I actually drove daily, while Bowen got to cruise around in the Tesla I financed like some kind of midlife crisis on wheels, air conditioning blasting, watching a mom wrestle a screaming toddler into a cart, and thought, at least my life isn't that bad. Small victories. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. The family group chat had devolved into complete chaos. My mother was planning Estelle's funeral in Spanish. My father was drafting legal documents in real time. Ophelia had created a poll. What should Tilda do with Bowen's stuff? Options included bonfire, donation, and catapult into the ocean. The catapult was winning. But one message stood out. From my father, sent privately. Call me. Important. Don't react yet. Otto didn't do cryptic. Otto did bullet points and legal precedent. Don't react yet, from a man who'd just watched his daughter discover her husband's affair live on camera, meant something big. I called him. Tilda. His voice had that controlled tone he used in court, the one that meant he was 3 steps ahead and already planning victory. Before you do anything, I need you to listen very carefully. Are you alone? I'm in a Target parking lot having a mental breakdown. So yes, technically alone if we don't count the existential dread. Good. Here's what you need to know. I heard papers shuffling. He was in his home office. The man retired 3 years ago, but kept it maintained like a war room. I just pulled our copy of the prenup. Clause 7 is ironclad, we knew that. But there's something else. Clause 12. Clause 12? I didn't remember a Clause 12. Then again, I'd been so busy being in love and trusting that I'd barely skimmed the document. Stupid, naive, pre-affair Tilda. Asset investigation clause. If either party suspects financial infidelity or hidden assets during divorce proceedings, both parties must submit to a full financial audit. Bank accounts, credit cards, investments, everything. And here's the beautiful part. If hidden assets are discovered, the offending party forfeits them entirely to the other spouse. My brain started connecting dots faster than a conspiracy theorist on Reddit. Dad, why are you telling me this right now? Because, sweet daughter of mine, your husband has been withdrawing cash. A lot of cash. Small amounts consistently for 3 months. I monitor the joint account. Don't look at me like that. I'm paranoid and it pays off. 500 here, 300 there. Always under 1,000 to avoid triggering bank alerts. Total? Approximately $18,000. The number hit me like a slap. $18,000. That was a used car. That was a year of health insurance. That was 3 months of affair funding, apparently. Where's it going? That's what we're going to find out. But Tilda, listen to me. Don't confront him yet. Don't let him know you know about the money. Let him think the prenup is your only weapon. File for divorce Monday, trigger the financial audit through the court, and watch him panic. Panicked men make mistakes. Mistakes we can use. I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, watching a Target employee collect shopping carts with more purpose than I'd felt in 3 months. My father, the paranoid genius, had been tracking our finances. My father, who I'd mocked for being overprotective, had been right. Does Mom know? I asked. Your mother knows everything. She's been tracking his social media activity for 2 months. She's the one who noticed he started following a restaurant in Clearwater that neither of you had ever been to, but that your sister had tagged repeatedly. Why do you think she pushed so hard for you two to come to Sunday dinners? She was gathering evidence. My mother. My sweet, optimistic Cuban mother, who posted inspirational quotes about family and love. My mother was surveilling my marriage like the FBI. So everyone knew except me. We suspected. We didn't know. There's a difference. And we couldn't tell you without proof because you're loyal to a fault, Tilda. You would have defended him. You would have said we were being paranoid. You would have given him a chance to explain. He was right. I absolutely would have. I'd have believed some story about investing in the gym or saving for a surprise. I'd have been the understanding wife, the cool girl, the one who doesn't make a fuss. Thank God I'd walked into Estelle's house when I did. Okay. I took a breath. My hands had stopped shaking. Clarity was replacing shock. Okay. What's the plan? I could hear the smile in his voice. Now you sound like my daughter. Here's what we do. You go home. Act devastated but not suspicious about money. Let him think you're just angry about the affair. He'll try to negotiate, maybe offer marriage counseling, whatever. You refuse, stay firm on divorce. Monday morning, we file. Tuesday, we request the financial audit through discovery. By Wednesday, he'll realize he's trapped. Men like Bowen aren't smart enough to hide money properly. And if he moved it offshore or something? He's a personal trainer who thinks a man bun makes him interesting, Tilda. He didn't move it offshore. He probably put it in a checking account under his gym's business name or handed it to someone in cash. We'll find it. And when we do, Clause 12 means it's yours. All of it. Plus whatever he was hiding it for. The pieces were falling into place. The secret money. The 3-month timeline. The affair with my sister in her house. Never mine. He'd been planning something. An exit strategy, maybe. A safety net for when I eventually found out. But he'd underestimated the paranoid lawyer father and the surveillance expert Cuban mother. Amateur mistake. There's one more thing, my father said, voice dropping. Your sister's Instagram. Your mother checked her business accounts. She's been getting payments. Consistent payments, monthly, for social media consulting. Wanna guess who's paying her? My stomach dropped. Bowen's gym? Bowen's gym. $1,200 a month for the last 3 months. Same timeline as the affair. Now, maybe it's legitimate consulting. Or maybe it's payments to keep her quiet, complicit, or compensated for her participation in whatever he's planning. Estelle wasn't just the other woman. She was on the payroll. The betrayal leveled up from personal to premeditated. This wasn't a spontaneous affair born from opportunity. This was calculated, planned, financed. He's going to regret underestimating this family, I said quietly. He already does. He just doesn't know it yet. Now go home. Feed Duke. Act heartbroken. Let Bowen pack his gym bags and his ego. And Monday morning, meet me at the office at 8. We have paperwork to file and a financial audit to request. Your mother is making Cuban coffee and planning revenge. It's going to be a good week. I hung up and sat there for another minute, watching suburban life continue around me. A teenager pushing carts. A couple arguing about whether they needed paper towels. A woman loading groceries while talking on speakerphone about her book club. Normal life. The kind of life I'd thought I had until 4 hours ago. I started the car. Duke needed dinner. I needed wine. And Bowen needed to believe he was only losing a wife, not his entire financial future. Let him pack his protein powder. Let him think the prenup was the worst of it. Let him sleep tonight believing he'd only been caught in an affair. Monday morning would be very educational for him. I pulled out of the Target parking lot with a smile. Not a sad smile. Not even an angry smile. A strategic smile. The kind of smile that means you've just realized you're 3 moves ahead in a chess game your opponent didn't know he was playing. Bowen wanted to play games? Fine. But he brought gym equipment to a legal battlefield. And my father brought a law degree and 3 decades of paranoid preparation. Game on. Monday morning arrived like Christmas for petty people. I met my father at his office at 8 a.m. sharp, carrying a folder thick enough to be a murder weapon and fueled by spite and Cuban coffee. My mother had sent me off with a thermos, 2 empanadas, and a kiss on the forehead accompanied by the words, "Destroy him, Mija." Parental support comes in many forms. Mine came with carbs and a thirst for legal blood. Otto's office hadn't changed since his retirement. Mahogany desk, leather chairs that smelled like important decisions, and a wall of legal books that probably hadn't been opened since the internet became a thing. But they looked impressive, and today was about impressions. "Ready?" he asked, sliding a stack of papers across the desk. I signed my name on 9 different documents without reading them. Blind trust in your lawyer father hits different when he's been right about everything. By 9:15, we'd filed for divorce. By 9:45, we'd requested a full financial audit under Clause 12. By 10:30, the court clerk had processed everything with the enthusiasm of someone who'd seen this exact scenario play out every week. Apparently, cheating husbands hiding money was a whole genre of family law. "Now we wait," Otto said, leaning back in his chair with the satisfaction of a man who'd just deployed a legal nuclear weapon. "The court will notify him by end of business today. He has 72 hours to provide documentation for all accounts, transactions, and assets from the last 6 months. If he fails to comply, automatic judgment in your favor. If he does comply and we find hidden assets, Clause 12 kicks in and he forfeits everything. And if he lawyers up, with what money? The $18,000 he withdrew is probably already spent or hidden. His gym barely breaks even, I checked. And any lawyer worth their retainer will take one look at that prenup and tell him to settle immediately." I sipped my coffee. It tasted like victory and espresso. Mostly espresso. "What about Estelle?" Otto's smile went sharp. "Your mother is handling Estelle. I suggest you don't ask for details. Plausible deniability is a beautiful thing." Fair enough. My mother's version of revenge involved the entire extended family, the church community, and probably several women's groups. Estelle's social life was about to become a wasteland. Her Instagram followers were already dropping, down to 6,000 as of this morning. Turns out, homewrecker chic isn't a sustainable brand. The notification came at 4:17 p.m. Bowen had been served. My phone exploded with texts. First came the denial. "This is insane, babe. We can work this out." Then the bargaining. "I'll go to counseling. We can fix this." Then the anger. "Your dad is a psycho. This is harassment." Then my personal favorite, the desperation. "Please, Tilda. I love you. This is too much. Too much." 3 months of sleeping with my sister was fine, but legal consequences were too much. I replied once, "You have 72 hours. Provide the documents or lose everything. Your choice." Then I blocked him. Duke, bless his golden retriever heart, had been significantly better company than Bowen anyway. We'd spent the weekend watching trashy reality TV and eating ice cream directly from the container. Duke got the dog-friendly kind. I got the Ben & Jerry's. We were both coping appropriately. Tuesday morning brought the first crack in Bowen's facade. My father called at 7 a.m. He tried to withdraw money yesterday. Attempted to pull $8,000 from the joint account. I'd already frozen it pending divorce proceedings. The bank declined the transaction. I almost felt bad. Almost. Then I remembered the Nike shirt on my sister's body, and the feeling passed. "He's panicking," Otto continued, sounding pleased. "Panic makes people stupid. Watch, he'll do something desperate in the next 24 hours. My father, the prophet of poor decisions." By Tuesday afternoon, Bowen had done something stupid. Specifically, he'd posted on Instagram a long, rambling caption about fake people, betrayal, and gold diggers who use prenups as weapons. He'd tagged it with motivation quotes and shirtless gym photos because apparently, crisis management means abs. The comments section was a battlefield. His clients were confused. His gym buddies were supportive until someone linked the family group chat video. Because yes, Ophelia had screen recorded and accidentally posted it to a local Facebook group with 40,000 members. Oops. The video went viral in Coral Springs. Local viral, but still. The yoga moms knew. The PTA knew. The people at Publix knew. I couldn't buy groceries without someone offering sympathy and gossip in equal measure. But the best part? His gym started losing clients. Turns out women don't love paying a man who cheats on his wife to yell at them about burpees. His business partner, a guy named Troy who'd always been the responsible one, called me personally to apologize and let me know they were reassessing the partnership. Karma worked in mysterious ways. Sometimes she worked through small-town gossip and canceled gym memberships. Wednesday brought the financial documents. All of them. Bank statements, credit cards, Venmo transactions, everything. Bowen had complied because he had no choice, and what we found was almost artistic in its stupidity. The $18,000? He'd deposited it into a checking account under his gym's LLC name. Not hidden, not offshore. Just, in another account he thought I wouldn't find. The consulting payments to Estelle? Documented as business expenses, complete with fake invoices she'd created using Canva templates. They'd literally left a paper trail a kindergartner could follow. But here's where it got interesting. $3,000 to a jeweler in Miami. Receipt dated 2 months ago. For an engagement ring. An engagement ring. For my sister. While still married to me. I sat at Otto's desk, staring at the receipt, experiencing emotions I didn't have names for. Rage? Definitely. Disgust? Absolutely. But also something close to awe at the sheer audacity. He'd been planning to propose to my sister, while married, while living in my house, while sleeping in my bed. This is the smoking gun, Otto said quietly, reading the jeweler's receipt. Premeditated affair with intent to marry. The court will crucify him. Can we use this? Tilda, we can use this to enforce every single clause in that prenup, seize the hidden money under Clause 12, and probably get you additional damages for emotional distress. He didn't just cheat. He funded his next marriage with marital assets while still in the current marriage. Judges hate this. The settlement came Friday morning. Bowen's lawyer, some guy he'd found on Google who specialized in DUIs and worked out of a strip mall, took one look at the evidence and advised immediate settlement. Final terms. I kept the house, the Tesla, all furniture, and Duke. Bowen paid all legal fees, mine and his. The $18,000 hidden in the gym account? Mine. The ring? Returned to the jeweler, refunded. Money went to me. His gym partnership? Dissolved by mutual agreement with Troy, who wanted nothing to do with the scandal. Bowen left the marriage with his Peloton bike, his protein powder collection, and a one-bedroom apartment in the bad part of Fort Lauderdale that smelled like mildew and broken dreams. Estelle? Lost her consulting gig, obviously. Lost more Instagram followers over the following weeks as screenshots continued circulating. Got uninvited from every family event until approximately the end of time. Last I heard, she'd moved to Orlando to start fresh, which I think means hide from the consequences of her choices. The ring receipt became family legend. My mother framed it. Actually framed it and hung it in her kitchen next to her wedding photos and the grandchildren she doesn't have yet. Reminder to marry smart, she tells visitors. As for me, I was sitting in my house, drinking wine on my couch, with Duke's head in my lap and the Tesla keys on my coffee table, watching the sunset through my windows, single, satisfied, and significantly richer than I'd been a month ago. The doorbell rang. I checked the camera, another gift from my paranoid father, and saw a man holding flowers. Not a delivery guy. An actual human man with an actual human smile and zero man bun. Reed, software engineer, 34. We'd matched on Hinge 2 weeks ago with the kind of chemistry that makes you believe in fresh starts. He knew about the divorce, hard to avoid when you're local viral, and hadn't run screaming. Points for bravery. I opened the door. He handed me sunflowers, not roses. Roses felt too serious for a third date, he explained. Sunflowers felt optimistic but casual. This man understood nuance, already better than Bowen. "You want to meet Duke?" I asked. "I was hoping you'd ask." We went inside. Duke approved immediately, which was the only character reference I needed. Reed didn't mansplain my TV choices or check his reflection in every surface. He laughed at my jokes and didn't post our date on Instagram. Revolutionary. That night, after Reed left with plans for next weekend, I stood in my kitchen, my beautiful, Bowen-free kitchen, and texted my father, "Thanks for the paranoia and the prenup." He replied immediately, "Told you. Never underestimate a good lawyer and a bad husband." Truer words had never been texted. 8 months later, I'm sitting on my back porch. Emphasis on my, because ownership tastes sweeter when it's legally ironclad, watching Duke chase butterflies he'll never catch, and thinking about the absolute circus my life became that Friday in October. People ask me if I regret live streaming my husband's affair to 73 family members. The answer is no. Absolutely not. Not even a little bit. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. With better lighting and a tripod. Here's what nobody tells you about betrayal. The trash takes itself out eventually, but documentation makes it faster. That 4-minute video became the gift that kept on giving. Bowen couldn't deny anything. Estelle couldn't rewrite history, and I got to watch them scramble in real time while an audience of relatives provided live commentary. Peak entertainment. Would recommend. The divorce finalized in January. Quick, clean, and devastating for exactly one party. Bowen tried to reconcile exactly twice. Once through a drunk text at 2 a.m., "I miss Duke." Once through my mother at church, mistake. My mother told him, and I quote, "My daughter is out of your league, always was, and you can miss Duke from your sad apartment." Then she blocked his number and lit a candle for my future. Catholic Cuban mothers don't play. Estelle sent me a letter in March. An actual handwritten letter, like we were living in a Jane Austen novel instead of modern-day Florida. It was 6 pages of, "I'm sorry," "I was confused," and "Marcus really hurt me." I read 2 paragraphs, fed it to my paper shredder, and felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness. Just the mild satisfaction of watching manipulation attempt to work on someone who'd upgraded her standards. She's still in Orlando, working at some boutique hotel and posting sunset photos with captions about new beginnings and finding yourself. Her follower count stabilized around 4,000 after the scandal fallout. Turns out infidelity drama gives you temporary engagement, but content quality determines longevity. She never had substance, just aesthetics and audacity. The market corrected itself. Bowen's doing about as well as expected, which is to say not great. His gym went under in February. Troy bought him out for practically nothing and rebranded. It's called Integrity Fitness now. Troy has a sense of humor. I respect that. Last I heard through the Coral Springs Gossip Network, which operates faster than the internet, Bowen's working at an LA Fitness, teaching spin classes to retirees, and living with his parents in Pompano Beach. He's 35 years old, sleeping in his childhood bedroom, and posting motivational content about rebuilding from rock bottom. The irony is exquisite. The schadenfreude is real. My therapist says I should work on letting go of the satisfaction. I'm working on finding a new therapist. As for me, Reed and I are still together. 8 months now. He met my family at Easter. Brave man, considering the legendary status of our family gatherings post-scandal. My mother interrogated him about his intentions, financial stability, and opinion on prenuptial agreements. He passed all 3 tests and even made my father laugh with a lawyer joke. That's when I knew he was permanent material. He still hasn't met Bowen, obviously. But he has met Duke, my co-workers, and my college friends who'd been suspicious of Bowen from day one, but didn't want to say, "I told you so." They said it anyway. Multiple times. I allowed it. They'd earned the right. The house feels different now. Lighter, maybe. Like it exhaled after holding its breath for years. I repainted the bedroom, replaced the couch where Bowen used to mansplain cryptocurrency, and installed a home security system that would make my father weep with pride. Duke got a bigger bed. I got peace of mind. We're both winning. I'm teaching summer school this year by choice, not necessity. The settlement money, $18,000 from the hidden account, $3,000 from the returned ring, plus the equity I already had, got invested. My father's managing it because paranoia apparently extends to portfolio diversification. I'm on track to retire at 60 with more money than Bowen will see in his lifetime. Compound interest and spite are powerful motivators. My students know about the divorce because teenagers know everything and subtlety isn't their strength. One kid asked if I was the live stream divorce lady. I said yes. He said iconic and gave me a fist bump. Gen Z gets it. The biggest lesson? Trust people who've earned it, document everything, and never underestimate the value of a paranoid father with a law degree. Also, prenups aren't romantic, but neither is losing your house to someone who wore a man bun unironically. Sometimes I think about that Friday afternoon. The wine spreading across Estelle's cream couch. Bowen's face when I mentioned Clause 7. The absolute chaos of the family group chat. If I could go back and do anything differently, I wouldn't. Maybe I'd wear a better outfit. That world's okayest teacher shirt wasn't my finest fashion moment. But the content? Perfect. No notes. Life's too short to stay married to men who treat fidelity like a suggestion, and too long to waste energy on sisters who treat family like a dating pool. I chose myself. I chose legal preparation over blind trust. I chose the dog. Best decisions I ever made. And if Bowen or Estelle ever wonder if I think about them, I do. Every time I make a car payment on the Tesla, sit on my back porch drinking expensive wine, or introduce Reed as my boyfriend to people who remember the scandal, I think about them and smile, because revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just living significantly better than the people who underestimated you, with better credit, better boundaries, and infinitely better taste in partners. Duke just caught a butterfly. He's very proud. I'm taking a picture to send to Reed with the caption, Family Achievement Unlocked. Life is good, the couch is comfortable, the wine is cold, and the only man in my house is the one I invited, who brings me sunflowers and doesn't betray me. That's not revenge. That's just an upgrade. And honestly, that's better.
And that wraps up today's story. Now we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments, and let's see how far these stories reach. If this story moved you or gave you chills, give it a like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. One last thing, rate the story from 1 to 10 in the comments. Your feedback helps us bring you even better ones next time. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you being part of this storytelling journey.